And this is going to be a review of, that was 5.5 and 5.6. Okay, and in section 5.5, you were given pictures of triangles. And if you were given a picture of triangle MNO, and then you were given the side lengths, and maybe this was 11 and 6, what would this third side have to be? Or what could this third side be to make this a triangle? That's kind of like a question from 11. The next section. It could be 11, yeah, but let's make it something other than 11.
8?
It could be 8, right? Could it be 4?
No.
Why not?
Because the two shortest ones have to be greater than the longest.
Two smallest got to be, the sum of the two smallest got to be greater than the third one. Good. So how about 7? 7 works, right? Yes.
Is that an O or a D?
That's M and O. All right, so in this question, if you were asked to order the angles from smallest to largest, all right, so we're going to order them small, medium, and large. Isn't the smallest angle going to be opposite the shortest side? All right, so if M to N is 6, then this angle right here is going to be the smallest angle in the triangle. So that's going to be angle O. All right, what's going to be the largest angle? N, because it's across from the 11. So opposite of the 11 is the largest angle, and that's angle N. And there's only one left, right? And that's angle M. So that's how you order the angles from smallest to largest when you're only given the side lengths. The second part of your assignment that day was when you were given you're given the triangle and you were given the angle measures. So if this is triangle ABC, and if this is 110 and 50, and you were asked to order the angles, or I'm sorry, order the sides, bless you, from smallest or shortest to longest. Alright, so you got a short, you got a medium, and you've got a long side. What's the first thing you got to answer in this question?
So you have to find the third side.
The third. Got to find the third angle first, right? So what do they all got to add up to? 180. So if you take 180 and you subtract 110 and then you subtract 50, what's left? 20. So this angle is 20 degrees. Which side is going to be the shortest side?
AC.
AC. Why?
Because it's opposite of the smallest angle.
It's opposite the smallest angle. So opposite the 20 is your shortest side. The longest side is C to B because it is
Opposite of the biggest angle.
opposite the largest angle. So right here. And then there's only one side left, and it is going to be the medium-sized or medium-length side, and that is AB. Then, in that section, you were asked to tell whether how do they phrase it? Tell whether a triangle can have the following sides. and you were given something like 11, 13, 20. Given 11, 13, and 20, can a triangle have those sides?
Yes.
Okay, yes. And then you were asked to explain why.
11, 13
is
is
greater
greater
than
than 20.
The two smaller sides added together are greater than the third side. So 11 plus 13 is greater than 20. That's your explanation. Now, just not thinking about geometry terms, just thinking about, I don't know, maybe like a real life example, or why wouldn't that work? Why do the two smallest sides got to be longer than the third side? What would happen if they weren't? If you think about it, if you're building something in your garage, or you're building a birdhouse, or you're building a playground, or
Be excess.
Yeah, it'll be extra.
would there be extra, or would there not be enough?
There wouldn't be enough. Because it doesn't.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Cause you got one too big, and then yeah.
Can you picture a drawbridge? Do you guys know what a drawbridge looks like?
Yeah.
Drawbridge opens like this, right?
Oh yeah. I didn't
Right.
know.
So like if you've got some land here, and then you got land over here, and there's water in between, and you got a drawbridge, and when the drawbridge is closed, it would look, one side would look like this maybe, right? And then the other side of the drawbridge would look like this. And if these two pieces added up to exactly this distance, they'd touch, wouldn't they? But as soon as that drawbridge started to open, the pieces would come apart right here, wouldn't they? And as soon as they start to come apart, that means that they're not long enough to form a triangle. Does that make any sense? If you think of this as the bottom of the triangle right here, as soon as that drawbridge starts to go up, okay, as soon as that goes up and this goes up, if those two, if red plus blue equals the entire span, they're not going to touch anymore, would they? So they wouldn't form a triangle anymore. Does that make sense? So the two smaller pieces have to be longer than that third piece. Got it? Okay, and then you went to section 5.6, inequalities in two triangles. And that's where you were given a picture like one triangle, another triangle, and the triangle on the left was KJL. Triangle on the right was RST. And let's see. Angle J was 75. And you had a 9 and a 12. And then angle R was 44. And you had a 9 and a 12. Alright, and you're asked to compare. Compare KL. We're going to compare KL to ST. And this was called the hinge theorem, because you can relate it to the hinge on a door or the hinge on a cabinet. It said that if two sides of one triangle are congruent to two sides of another triangle, but the included angles are not congruent. All right, if you're comparing KL to ST, is KL longer or shorter than ST?
Longer.
Why?
Because it's 75.
Yeah. 75 is the angle that's opposite from that side is bigger than 44.
Very good. 75 degrees is larger than 44 degrees. So KL is going to be greater than ST. All right? The same concept was used when you were comparing angle measures. So if you have this picture, XWZ Y, and then a 9.2, 7.3, a 9.2, and an 8.6. And you're asked to, let's see, compare. Let's see, we gotta compare angle WZX, and we're gonna compare it to angle WZX YXZ. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm looking at this one, my eyes start to get a little bit confused. Okay? So the first thing I would do is I would identify the angles that you're comparing. If you're comparing WZX, I would highlight it. WZ to X. That's the red angle, isn't it? And then I would highlight the other angle, the YXZ. You're going from Y to X to Z. So you're comparing red to blue. Agreed? Now, you got two triangles, and you got two congruent sides in the two triangles. Agreed? Because they both share this, they both share XZ. So if you're comparing those angles, which angle is greater? Is blue bigger than red, or is red bigger than blue? Why is red bigger than blue?
Because it's opposite a larger side.
Okay, it's an angle opposite a larger side, isn't it? 8.6 is greater than 7.3, so red is going to be greater than blue. And then the last part of that assignment yesterday was to find a range of values for a variable. All right, so you were given a diagram like the one on the wall, and you were asked to find the range of values for M. So again, you've got two triangles with two congruent sides. Agreed? Triangle ABD up top, AD is congruent to CD on the bottom. And both triangles share side BD. Okay, so you have two triangles with two congruent sides. The included angles are not equal to each other. You're asked to find the range of values for M. So the angle that's 5M plus 25, how does it compare to the angle that's 50 degrees? It's greater than, isn't it? Okay? So look, 5M plus 25, that's greater than 50. Or 50 is less than 5M plus 25. Agreed? Now, that sets the bottom range on the range of values. When you're finding a range of values, you got to have a bottom and a top, right? You got to have a lower limit and an upper limit. So in this case, how do you set the upper limit?
180.
Right. The 5m plus 25 is greater than 50 degrees, but it's got to be less than 180 degrees. All right, because you're dealing with one angle in a triangle, and if the sum of those angles is 180 degrees, then one of them has to be less than 180. Two of them have to be less than 180, right? How many angles have to be less than 180? All of them or all of them?
All of them.
Why?
Because
They all,
everything. All of them.
yeah, if one of them's 180, you don't have a triangle, do you? If two of them are 180, they all got to be less than 180, right? Okay. So when you're setting this upper limit, it's got to be set at 180. Now, you're going to solve a compound inequality. So subtract 25 from the middle, from the right, and from the left. And 25 is less than 5m, which is less than, what's 180 minus 155? And then what?
Divide 5.
Divide everything by 5. So 5 is less than m, which is less than 31. There's your range of values for m.
And don't you do something different? Like, I forgot. Oh, yeah. The other one.
Yesterday was the other application here would be if this side was larger and your 5m plus 25 was less than 50. Then to set your lower limit, if your 5m plus 25 was less than 50, it's got to be greater than something. And in this case, it would have to be greater than 0. And you would solve it the same way.
Why does it, like, could it go into negative one?
Well, what you're talking about here is 5m plus 25, which is a binomial that represents an angle measure. All right? The angle measure itself can't be negative. But the value for the variable can be negative, if that makes any sense. Because in this case, in this red case right here, if you subtract 25 from each side, or from the middle, the left, and the right, and then divide by 5, you'd end up with a negative value for m, right? And at that negative value, the angle would be, at any value above that negative 5, it would give this angle measure up here at least like 0.0001 degrees. So you can't have a negative angle, but you can have a negative value for the variable. All right, so any questions on anything we covered Monday and Tuesday?
Nope. What?
Coming from Jordan. Nothing. That was good. All right, your assignment for today is on page 380. That's going to be 37 through 41. And then 43 through 46. And then on page 382, 10 through 14. And make sure you check headline for homework.